Okay, so I just got all this back together. After changing out my intake gaskets and changing some stuff around. But I have a bad vacuum leak, and it was pretty easy to track down. And it's coming from the number one cylinder injector. The O-ring on the injector, I'm guessing, is bad. So I'm going to unbolt the fuel rail and pull it off, pull that injector out, check that O-ring, see what it looks like. I would say pretty much guaranteed that I had it pinched or something, and it probably tore it when I was putting it in, not being careful enough. But yeah, let's get to that. So I had to make my own brackets to hold these fuel rails. They actually work pretty good. They're really simple, but it is still a pain to get all of this off. And it's not terrible, but it could be a little better. I might try to come up with some kind of quick release, just because I'm constantly pulling stuff off of here, changing things up, cleaning the injectors, doing different things. So these holes aren't, the hole in the fuel rail and the hole in the bracket isn't exactly lined up, and it's a pain. Apparently it's the first time I've had to do this, but it's a pain to get the bolt out. I would really like to put studs in, so then I can just lift the whole thing off of there. But for now, come on, there we go. For now, this is going to work. Try not to drop it under my intake. There we go. All right. I might be able to just loosen. I've got two bolts, two brackets on each rail. So it's this first injector that I'm pulling out. So I'm thinking I could just loosen the back bolt and nut, and then just pivot this up enough to get that injector out. I'm gonna try that out. There goes the fuel, which is fine. Whatever. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Yep. I got it out. Getting it back in might be a little bit harder, but if I have to, I'll just pull the rail out. Just one more nut I have to take off. All right. And sure enough, don't know if you can see if we can get it to focus here. See that? Definitely tore up. So I would say when I was installing that, you know, just not really careful enough, and I pinched it on the side of those bungs, and when I pushed it down in there, it just tore it. That's definitely the cause of the leak. So luckily I have an older set of injectors that I was using, and I'll just pull the O-ring off of those, swap them out, and then install it. Okay, so I got that, this is an old 19-pound injector from a Mustang. I pulled it off of a vehicle some years ago, or off of a motor. And that's the 42-pounder. Come on. Anyhow, so I just swapped out the O-ring on that. Now all we got to do is reinstall it. And make sure everything's tightened down. Yeah, much better. Put a little bit of, I always throw some Vaseline on them. Some people say not to use that, but I've been doing it for forever, and I've never had an issue. All right. Now, getting this bolt in here without dropping it down into my intake. Well, not into it, but under the intake. And there it went. All right. That's okay. We've got tools for that. Try again. Probably do this a few times. I really need some long needle nose pliers, which I have here somewhere. Yeah. All right, let me pull this out of here. Grab my pliers. You know, some vice grips might be a little bit better, but I think I can get this in there. And this is why I would really rather have studs. There we go. Wasn't too bad. Get the nut. I'll probably drop this too. There we go. First try. Two 1/2-inch wrenches. And of course, before I tighten this completely, I want to make sure that everything is seated properly, that the rail is down as far as it'll go. All of the injectors are seated. The last thing I want is a massive fuel leak with this, especially on the side of the turbo. My luck, I won't notice it, or it won't start leaking until I'm on the road, and then I'll have a huge problem. tighten this side back up. All right, and there we go. So now that vacuum leak should be fixed. We'll fire it up here, make sure everything's good, and we'll hit then we'll take it out on the road.